Well, that was nice and light. First of all, just thanks to Rick Brownlee and everybody involved in organizing this very special evening for us, obviously. We really appreciate the effort that's gone into it. And I know we've caused some chaos around seating and tables and changing our minds a lot, but we wanted to get it right. So thanks very much for your patience with us. As I thought about what I was going to say tonight, I was trying to figure out, I was trying to step into my dad's shoes and figure out what he would say if he was here. And I think the first thing he would say was just how lucky he was to do what he did for a living and love it as much as he did. So very few people probably are that fortunate in life. And so that's where he would start. And then I think he would start to list all the people that he owed a lot of thank yous to. And I think he would start with my mom. So Mom, thank you for supporting Dad through his career and his travels and listening to a lifetime of hockey stories that you probably heard 100 times, but you were incredibly supportive of him. He's got a table of partners here from Thompson, Dorfman, Swetman, and I know he really did enjoy being a lawyer and stayed there a long time. A lot of great friendships there. Greg Talon, when we first got the email from you about this night, it was special coming from you as well, so thank you for that. He also worked very closely with a number of people over the years at Thompson Dorfman, Margaret Chopchuk over the years, Sandra Smith, Debbie Jones-Walker, Jeff Cowell. My dad loved what he did, but he loved who he did it with as well. So thanks very much for all the support over the years to him. The video mentioned Dr. Jerry Wilson, my dad always talked about serendipity and what a role that played in his career. And I can't think of a more serendipitous event than having his good friend Jerry Wilson go over to Sweden and meet Anders Hedberg. I think Carrie Wilson's in the room tonight. I saw him on the list, which means a lot to us to have Carrie here. Jerry was a lifelong friend, and what a lucky bounce for my dad to have Jerry go and ignite that. Jerry's fingerprints are all over the hockey world through his own family and the influence he had in bringing Swedes and Finns to North America ultimately to Winnipeg. So a big thank you would go out to Jerry Wilson, of course. He would also, of course, speak about his clients, and I think the client list he had was amazing in terms of the quality of athletes, but they were amazing people too, and they became really, they were amazing characters and became lifelong friends. And he had so many great stories and friendships all over the world out of that. It was really remarkable. When I was driving over here, I felt like I needed something more for the speech, so I called Paul Correa, and I was driving over, and first of all, Paul was horrified that I was preparing for a speech on the drive to it, because that's not the way he does things. But I said, can you give me some? He said, oh my God, your dad saved my life. Like, he was the only guy that was cheaper than I was, and when Tamu was trying to get me to get a new suit or a new car, I'd be like, Don hasn't had a new pair of socks since I met him. But he had these relationships and friendships with these incredible people. They were superstars, but they were incredibly humble, and I know that meant a lot to him too. The video showed Bob Leader, and he's one of those lifelong friends and superstar clients in his day. I know his son is Jeff Leader is here. In the category of thank yous that I know my dad would want to make sure got communicated. Jeff, 10 years ago, just before my dad passed, he was about 3 months away. Jeff organized a dinner. Sorry. Thought it'd be okay. And it was a dinner, the Fire and Ice dinner for the Pan Am Foundation. We had to talk my dad into even doing it, not his thing, but it was an amazing experience for us. Thank you for organizing that, Jeff. Scott Oak was there. I think Scott's here tonight. Scott worked his magic. It was an incredible evening for us and our family. And what an experience for someone that was at the stage he was at. So thank you, Jeff. There are a whole room full of friends and family here that meant a lot to my dad too, and I'd be remiss not to acknowledge that. There's too many to name all by names, but there is a guy that I would like to single out. You know, when I was growing up, I thought Vic Graham was just this grumpy old guy on the radio. And, Vic, through my dad's illness, and since that time when we were, recovering from that, your support and friendship has been second to none, so thank you for that. And, as I was preparing for this, I was thinking about what this would mean to my dad, and I started talking to my sister about it, and she immediately started bawling and telling stories about all the events like this she went to him, and the genuine interest and fascination he would have in the sport and all the other inductees. And so I wanted to finish with saying that if he was here, he would be truly happy for you and wishing you and congratulating you for all your accomplishments. So I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you.